Hi, everyone. Welcome to the second activation of week one. Second activation, all to do with slavery and having slave ancestors. Thank you for coming here today and joining with me. My name is Carol Arcus, and I will be talking us through a second activation. Now, this time, this activation will be a little different, only in that the purpose for being here is also to help free us and our ancestral voices from some of the painful lives they lived. And if, like me, you have slave ancestry somewhere in your DNA structure, there will be some voices that are seeming like they're coming from a slave past. Now, what I mean by that is I've been experiencing the feeling and that I need someone to tell me what to do, that I can't act without being instructed or told, and almost fearful if I try to do things without being told. So today I'm going to be calling back the ancestors that were slaves that really were so totally lost that all they could do was do what they were told every day. They were fearful. They were scared for their lives, their families' lives, their children's lives. They did what they were told to survive. As you can imagine, this kind of thought process could be in anyone that's thinking about starting their own business, even business people that are struggling to start. So I'll talk about that, the kind of things that you could be experiencing on another video. But for today, this is the activation to start sending love back to those ancestors and start freeing those voices of the ones living in fear. So, as I said before, grab yourself a drink, a tea, a coffee, a water, whatever you like. Pause the video, go get your drink, because we will be saying thank you to the ancestors and we will need to acknowledge them by taking a drink when I take a drink. So remember, I'm going to be closing my eyes so I can focus on what I want to say and the words that are coming to me. I think you'll be surprised by what happens after we start to free some of the difficult voices that translate into your thought patterns and how you live your life. So grab that drink and we'll begin. Calling back the ancestors through the years, through the centuries, through the lifetimes. As blood calls blood, I call back the ancestors of mine that were enslaved over the very many centuries, very, very many centuries that slavery has existed in humankind. I call back the ones in my line that were slaves and were fearful. They were scared of doing anything wrong. They were scared of upsetting their slave master, their owner, terrified because they knew that horrible pain, torture, or death would await them if anything they did was wrong. They lived lifetimes like this. They lived lifetimes enslaved and overwhelmed with needing to survive. Calling you back here now, all those in my line. As blood calls blood, I call you back here now to receive the love and blessings of the line. Calling back the 18th, 19th, and 20th century ancestors that lived as slaves in fear, that could not do anything other than follow the total instructions they were given. And as the years and the years continued, they no longer could think for themselves. They could not act, they could not do, they could not think, they could not be, but they survived somehow. They lived somehow. Calling you back here now, the slaves that died as slaves, fearful, scared, and terrified of upsetting or not fulfilling every desire and whim of the owner. As blood calls blood, I call you back here now to receive the love and blessings of the line. Calling you back here now to receive the love and understanding that your life was lived exactly as it was supposed to be for me and mine that have come after you. For the sacrifices you gave us, for the sacrifices that you would survive, I say thank you and I drink to you. Reaching back further and further through the centuries, through the years, the 15th, 16th, and 17th century. I call you back now, here, to hear me and to feel the love. I call you back here now, the ones that died enslaved, in fear, in pain, in poverty, kept against your will, forced to work, with nothing to save you, no one to save you. You lived and died in a way unimaginable to most of us today. Calling you back here now, my ancestors. Calling you back here now to feel the love and gratitude from me, your daughter, your descendant, the one that shares your bones, your blood. Calling you back here now to receive the love and blessings from me. Calling you back here now for you to receive the love and understanding that somehow your life was lived exactly as it was supposed to be. And I say thank you to you, and I drink to you. Reaching back further and further through the centuries, 12th, 13th, 14th centuries, so very long ago, as blood calls blood, I call back the ancestors of mine that lived and died in slavery, enslaved, forced to do someone else's work, forced to work and live in chains, locked up, kept away from the people and things and places they loved. I call back the ones that suffered horribly through death, through torture, through being abused in all kinds of ways, unimaginable now. I call you back here to receive my love, my thanks, my blessings, and the blessings from all the descendants that came after you. I call you back here now to receive the love, the understanding that your life sacrifices, the pain you endured, the suffering you endured, was exactly as it was supposed to be. The time, the era, the circumstances, the life you lived is part of Earth's history, is part of Earth's evolution, the part of humanity's growing to care for each other. We call you back here now to receive the love and blessings from me, and I say thank you to you, and I drink to you. Calling back again further and further through the centuries, through the years, calling back to the 8th, 9th, 10th century, calling back to the ancestors of mine who lived in very different ways. The grandmothers, the mothers, the daughters, the sons, the fathers, the grandfathers, the ones born in slavery, the ones that lived enslaved, the ones lived in chains and ropes, the ones that there was no escape. You were fearful, You were terrified. And you could not get out of that place, that situation. Calling you back now for you to receive the love and blessings of my line, of all our line that came after you. We want to say thank you to you and for you to receive the love and blessings. And with those love, with that blessings comes the understanding that's flowing to you now. That the life you lived was exactly as it was supposed to be. That all is well for you and for me, your descendant who lives now, calling you back to receive that love and that blessings as it flows down towards you through the centuries. And I say thank you, and I drink to you. Reaching back further and further, it's through the centuries, through the years, as it goes back through my ancestral line, 6th, 7th, 8th centuries, a time when life was so very different. Calling back the ones in my line that were enslaved, captured, born into slavery, born into a life they would never have chosen. A death, probably awful, probably traumatic, violent. You were fearful, you were scared, you did what you could to survive. I hear your voices, I hear your calls. And me, your ancestor, is safe, secure, and living due to your sacrifice. You're living in this way. Calling you back here now to receive the love and thanks from all of the descendants that have come after you, for the flow of love to come towards you, and for you to receive the understanding that your life was lived as it could have been, as it should have been, as it was, and for you to receive the understanding that all is well, all is well. And I say thank you, and I drink to you. Reaching back further and further to years gone by, centuries gone by, ways of living and being and working gone by. Going back to the 4th, 5th, 6th centuries, calling back to the ancestors of mine that were slaves, slaves kept against their will, born into this world where they were not free, could not visit the places they wanted, could not perform the rituals and cultural significant things to them. They were kept away and made to work. Calling you back if you suffered from a terrible death, a terrible life. Calling you back because you were fearful, scared of doing anything wrong, anything that would make life even worse. Calling you back now for you to receive the love, the blessings and the thanks from your ancestors, from your descendants that came after you, from me who lives proud and free. Calling you back now to receive my thanks and my thanks as it flows down through the centuries towards you. And I say thank you and I drink to you. Reaching back further, further, further in time, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd centuries, when my ancestors and you lived in villages, tribes, simple ways. Calling you back now because you were enslaved by others. Calling you back now as you were kept in misery, tortured, raped, abused. Calling you back now, the ones that suffered through being enslaved, being born into slavery and forced to live in a way that I cannot understand, but can only feel. Calling you back now for you to receive my love, my thanks, and the blessings that are now flowing down towards you through the centuries, through the years of all your descendants. Calling you back because with that love comes the understanding to you now that your life was lived in the only way it could have been at that time. It was the only way that was open and available. And for you to forgive and love yourself as I, your granddaughter, your great-great-granddaughter, so for many centuries removed, say thank you. And I drink to you. And as I sit here and call back my ancestors that were slaves, the ones that died as slaves, fearful, alone, terrified, the ones that lived these poor lives, these lives not lived with freedom, not lived well. Somehow you managed to survive well enough to have ancestors. And with those ancestors, and I am the result of you, your sacrifice, and that sad, terrible life. And now I say thank you to all of the line. And as I say thank you, I show and feel my love towards all of the ancestors that have come before me. And as I say thank you to every ancestor, I ask that all the ancestors through the ages turn backwards and say thank you to the ones that came before them. Thank you for sacrificing. Thank you for existing and living so that I could be here, so that we could all be here. And as I say thank you, and I can feel the love flow down through the centuries towards all of you, the understanding that the life you lived was the best that could be done at that time, the best you could do. And it was the best because I am here now, the product of you, your sacrifice, and your life. And for the last time, I say thank you and I drink to you. Wow. Well, let me know what you think. I definitely had some ancestral slaves that suffered a great deal in those sort of 15th, 16th, 17th years. Obviously, at that time, slavery was pretty much rife worldwide. So it shouldn't come as any surprise to any of you that you will have ancestral lines that were slaves and that had horrible lives, terrible, violent, painful lives and deaths. So thank you for joining me today. Remember that you could get some very vivid dreams the next day or two. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me about your experiences. Drop some comments into the Facebook group, and I will promise to answer every single one. Promise to. So send me any queries you have, any thoughts you have, even any requests for future topics over the next few weeks. I will let you know that topic next week is going to be all about our ancestors that endured violence. And I'm going to be concentrating on the violence inflicted by male ancestors. So not there, sorry, males, but we're on our likely female ancestors, but also it doesn't exclude and discount men here because many men have male ancestors that were also suffered terrible violence by other men. So this is for everyone. Anyway, I'll say bye for now. Thanks for joining me. My name is Carol Arcus. Please join me and keep joining me for these activations. And I want to see the difference it makes in your life. All right, bye for now.